Hello and welcome back to part 2 of International Immersion's discussion on what you're gonna do about banking.
So besides for transportation, what else have you found that's kind of will drain you here in terms of your financial
As
buying
an
power?
international student, I don't have to spend a lot. And here in the US, I think groceries and food comparatively not very expensive. I think they're okay. They're okay.
So
It's like it's only the rent and transportation and phone bills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially I
that's
paid 30 yuan as a special student deal for my service in China, and I pay 170 for 2
student
lines here.
Deal.
Yeah, so that was even better. So that's like $5.
Do you even have a student deal here?
no.
No.
They do. I mean, I think like I know like
I
some
think-
universities, if you're a student, you can get a discount or something, but it's nothing like that. Not even close to that.
So which carrier are you with here?
AT&T.
Oh,
Yes,
so
it's AT&T.
yeah, so you're paying for a good service, but it's heck of expensive.
Yeah.
Actually, one of our previous internet foreign friends actually they used Cricket, which is like a watered down version of AT&T. They're owned by the same company.
What is funny is that I get this phone with another friend because they have a special deal for
Buy one get one.
buy one get one, and I just have to have an iPhone because I bring my Chinese phone, which is a Huawei device with and all Google services are blocked there, so it's like I need to have a map because I'm in a foreign city, so I just have to have this phone. So I get this. I and my friend. We were in this contract and we get this phone together. Yeah, so he has this one and I had another. And we have to pay $400 each at the beginning to start this contract. And then there's a monthly payment of about $50.
Yeah.
So together it's like $100 a month divided between the two of you.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
And that's a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's the problem. So companies like AT&T and Verizon, you know, they provide the best service. You're not gonna beat them. But
By best service, you mean...
so like you'll
Compared to like overall.
you'll be able to make calls or get data almost anywhere in the U.S.
yeah, almost
Okay.
any place you go, the
Not
you'll
very
have service.
strong signal here.
So I think there's something shady going on with this apartment regarding data. so
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking about service, I think China offers better service compared to America.
Oh,
Right.
those are fighting words. I used to work for a telco.
Yeah, well, let's not get into a trade war here.
No, but yeah, but the problem is that the services are extremely expensive, and
Yes.
yeah, you the only reason that we make it cheap is because there's like 6 people in my plan, and that
family plan.
yeah,
family
plan.
plans.
So like we water it down to like I pay like $20 a month, so it's not that bad overall. But yeah, $50 a month that hurts. That hurts, especially with like all the we open up your account fee and then we open up your phone bill.
Don't get me started on the
Yeah.
fees.
And like
Yeah.
it's like you get like 50 fees at the beginning, but you know.
No, and honestly, you should always check your statements to make sure they're not giving you something that shouldn't be there. Because I know people catch it all the time. They're like, "Oh, they're stiffing me for that fee. That doesn't even apply to me."
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So besides for transportation and telecom service, but those are kind of. But what about?
I'm actually curious about. You said that food here is actually cheaper. So like what like a grocery in China you would spend N versus here M?
What do you think? I think the food prices are kind of the same.
It's similar, but I
Similar,
find that
yeah.
like certain kinds of fruits and vegetables are cheaper here. But then again, I would say because like if you go like it depends on what kind of grocery store you go to. If you go to like a very
prices
base,
of food is very acceptable. I like it. Yeah, and you get fresher vegetables and fruits here.
And I'd also say the amount you get is more here too.
Of
The
course.
size, not just like you go to restaurants, but when you go up to a grocery store, you can buy more quantity for a lower price. I mean, it's cheap in China for a lot of food, but I would say it depends. Now, the one difference is I think buying stuff at the grocery store or stores here is actually pretty cheap, but eating out in the U.S. is more expensive than in China in a lot of the times. Now, fast food sometimes, but because when I was in China, I ate it all the time because it was so much cheaper. If I do that here, I go bankrupt.
Yeah. With all this tipping and taxes.
Yeah.
By far, the best thing about Asia is, or at least Japan, it's like no tipping. It's like
same in China, no tipping.
It's like no tipping, okay.
Well, yeah, like a typical lunch in Hangzhou where I was at cost me around 20 Chinese yuan, not under $3. Dinner maybe 30 to 50, depending on what it was,
Depends on what kind of food.
Exactly, but I would always eat more local food, so it's always very cheap. I would never spend usually more than 50 on any meal, unless it was a nice meal. If I went out with my friends or went out with my girlfriend, then it'd be maybe 50 to a couple hundred. But no, it's just. But if you want Western food, then it's really expensive. But I would say, generally speaking, eating out is more expensive in the U.S. But buying groceries can be either the same, or maybe I could even say cheaper here, depending on what you buy.
I mean, my grocery is $40 for 2 weeks, so $80 a month.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the grocery store the other day because I like to go to shop at Aldi's. I got a bunch of stuff for more than a week. It was $24.71 exactly.
Yeah, so I think it's always where you go. Do you have like I don't go to Walmart. I have It's not because of any labor thing or anything. It's just because I'm a cheap man, and every time I go to Walmart, I always end up spending $200. I went there just to buy a box of cereal. And I got some detergent, and somehow this box of cereal and detergent equals $200.
Funny how all these extra things that, I do need that too. Oh, I think I need that too, just pop up when you go to places like that.
And when I go to Aldi's, it's like, it's like $10. It's like, what the heck just happened here?
What are the best choices of grocery?
Well, it really depends because different parts of the U.S. you have different stores. Now, here in the Midwest, I mean, like in our area, Aldi's, I'd say, is probably the cheapest.
Yeah.
There's also Schnucks, is a local store. Shop and Save, no, that's no longer here, unfortunately. And then Deerberg's, but I would say Schnucks and Deerberg's are kind of more on the high end. And I only go there for special things that I need. I get all my base things at Aldi's because it's so cheap. But then I go to the other stores if I need something very unique, like specialty foods or something. If there's a family event or function. Yeah,
like Walmart has the best bag of rice. You can get a 10-pound bag of rice for like $2. It's like amazing. You can get that.
Yeah, like my normal grocery shopping trip would be Aldi's and then Walmart or maybe one of the other two stores. And then it helps me better dollar cost average the amount of things I get.
Did you have that type of feeling in China, I guess, where is there Walmart in China or an equivalent?
There are many different types of supermarkets. Chaoshi, that's what we call them. Yeah. We have actually in China some parts there are many Korean supermarkets and Japanese supermarkets, and but people don't go to the grocery or supermarkets as you guys do because it's like a necessity here. You have to go to get your food, but in China you have other choices. You can always find a market that serve vegetables and food, and you can go and buy your daily food there. It's just down the streets in the neighborhood. So
there was a farmer's market not far from where my girlfriend lived, and also campus where you could go and buy fresh stuff. Right, they have everything laid out in a building or outside, and you can just get fresh vegetables,
meat, vegetables, everything.
Like a wet market. Yeah, and that's one thing that was kind of cool. Is literally you could go to a farmer's markets, and then on Sundays the farmers would bring some trucks in full of just produce, different types of. One day they came in with a huge number of the judza, the little clementines, but little oranges. And I would just go there and I'd buy a huge bag because they were super cheap. and then I just eat them every
So
winter.
for housewives in China, it's like every day. It's everyday grocery. You go to the market every day.
I really like that, but but like we were saying, you just can't do that here in the U.S. as much. Now, like some towns, like here, we have a farmer's market every weekend, and so I like, people like to go there and get fresh produce, but usually they get it for the whole week. People buy like on a weekly basis, or
So that's why you have a lot of frozen vegetables.
yes.
I don't have frozen vegetables. Vegetables are supposed to be vegetables, which is fresh.
The problem is, it's like you can only buy. It's like with I think the pace of work and everything here, you can get fresh stuff on the weekend, but you can't keep it that way all week, or it's harder to.
Yeah, I think it just goes bad really quickly here, because like as soon as I buy like a head of broccoli, I literally have to either cook it or chop it up and put it in the fridge.
The freezer.
Freezer.
Yeah.
So
that's why when I usually just buy a bunch of frozen vegetables, just a very general but good quality, just frozen vegetables, and that way I'm good for a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then if I like go to on the weekend, I'll get maybe some fresh vegetables and prepare them. But
and I've actually seen that the frozen bags of vegetables are actually cheaper than the actual thing.
Yes.
Like I get 75 cents for a bag of like mixed vegetables, like cabbage. No, not cabbage. Broccoli. Cauliflower and carrots.
Yeah,
which is my favorite.
Yeah, like a lot of the places they'll have a large number of varieties of mixed vegetables, or you get just pure broccoli, pure whatever, and it can be anywhere from like 75 cents to a couple dollars. It's for just one.
Yeah, so I just buy like 10 bags of that, and then I just pop them in or stir fry them in. So like,
okay.
Yeah, in my fridge I have like 2 or 3 of each kind, and I just pile them.
I'll start buying those frozen vegetables.
Well, I find it's just it's not the same as fresh, but it's a great way to keep just your diet a little bit more balanced. It can be in a cheap way.
It's convenient, and like the produce won't go as bad as quickly.
And and it's not the best food, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's much more healthy than a lot of other alternatives you could buy. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about that. Now I'm curious. So what do you think of like banking here versus banking in China? We kind of started off talking about that, but from your experience here, like using banks and getting money and paying your bills and stuff, what's your how does what's your opinion about it?
Well, banks are so different here. You have banks and you have credit unions. I have a account. I just opened this account, but I still have no idea what credit unions mean. And in the banks, I think in China, what do you think?
So like, who do you bank with? What is the most popular like banking?
Well, there's like in China there's like a group of big banks that like we have here.
Yes, you go to big banks.
Like there's ICBC, there's Zhongguo Bank of China, ABC Agricultural Bank of China, China Construction Bank.
建设银行.
Yeah. So those are kind of the big ones you see all over the place. But then every city or place they have smaller ones. But but they're all very similar in their format.
So when you open up yours, was it less like in and out?
I have accounts from different banks in China, and I don't think they even ask for maintenance fees or administrative fees.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have that, but in bigger banks in China, in the United States, for example, the Bank of America, they ask for like the monthly pay.
No, don't even get me started on Bank of America in terms of fees. No offense, I'm just saying. But yeah, when I was in China, sometimes when I get an ATM, there'd be a service fee if it was a different one. Yes. But when it comes to maintaining the account, nothing. My Bank of America account I had before I closed it, if I didn't maintain at least $1,500 a month, it was a $12 a month service fee, which is obscene, in my opinion. So I do think that banks here are a little more fee heavy than the banks over there. But then again, I never got into more than just personal banking.
Yeah.
In China.
So have you? So what was your previous bank in the U.S.?
Oh yes, I opened this account when I first came here. It's from Commerce Bank, It's from Commerce Bank. And they gave us a great deal for opening that bank. And they have some requirements. If you meet that requirement, then you have $200 back.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so like they
Yes,
get a bonus.
I
Nice.
I have that $200 bonus right now in my account. It's a nice thing.
Yeah. Hey,
and I'm
free
thinking
money is
about
always nice.
cancel that account now because you don't have that bank in this town.
Yeah, because you said that when you when you opened that first bank account, where you're at now, they don't have that bank anywhere close, which is quite not very convenient. So, yeah. But so, what else can you tell us about like what you think of banking so far?
So, do you think the process was easy here, or compared to China?
I think it's almost the same. You have to do all the paperwork, and this bank clerk will help you with everything, right? And it's more like a face-to-face service. In here, I think the girl who was helping me to open this account, she was like talking to me all the time. And in China, that will not happen, I believe, because there'll be a lot of people waiting in the line, and you're supposed to be very efficient. And you don't expect yourself to be engaging in a personal conversations or something.
I totally agree. Like when I go to banks here, like hey, how's it going? You small talk. They help you with everything. Whereas in China, it's just very cut and dry. There's usually there's a glass wall between you and
if
the
you're
person.
a regular customer, you don't talk to this person face to face. You're waiting in the line, and there will be a glass wall in between.
Yeah, and sometimes I try to make conversation, and they look at me like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, you're doing all this paper. You're just waiting for this to process. We wanted to talk, but they're just like, what?" Whereas here, no big deal. So I just find it more personal here, more personable, which is nice. I mean,
I think banks, especially in the U.S., care to have that customer to customer relationship.
Yeah, they definitely emphasize that more. I think it's also to help beat the competition.
Yeah.
How many banks do you have here?
There's quite a few. I mean, the big ones are Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Citi, Chase,
Wells Fargo.
Yeah, Wells Fargo. Do they have banking?
I know
they do loans a lot. I don't know they do a lot of loans.
And it's just like Merrill Lynch is owned by Bank of America.
I mean, there's a lot of banks. The thing is, like the big ones are probably those 4 or 5, and then you have like small ones like.
And then you have regional banks, mid-level banks, and then like the small banks. And I will say that from experience, the big banks, they definitely give you all the services, but they really can screw you over in terms of fees and a lot of the other things. So I would say for a lot of people, I would go either mid-level or low-level banks because I find the customer service is much better. They have much more value as a customer, and you get better deals. Like, I go to a credit union too, and I get really good rates, and they're very nice to me, and they always help me out.
Yeah, I think there's a difference with credit unions versus banks, right? Because a bank is a bank for everybody, right? You, me, and potato. But credit unions are more of a union, a membership, right?
Yeah, you're a member. You're a member.
You belong to this group, and actually, a lot of credit unions don't allow many people. They actually make sure that you meet a certain criteria.
Yeah,
and
I had
from there you actually. They provide the best service for you, and that's what they want, right? Those credit unions are there to help you, because you meet their criteria.
Exactly. Yeah, like when I became a member of mine when I got my second vehicle, and they financed a loan through my credit union, and they gave me membership because of that. But otherwise, I would have never gotten in. But now that I'm a member, I really enjoy it because the interest is better, the service is pretty good, and I'm making a lot more interest in my credit union than I ever could at the other bank I was at before.
So you're saying the interest rates from the banks are...
Generally, credit unions do provide better service overall, and that also includes like interest and better returns on the accounts or even investments you can put finance to them.
So for banks, sometimes their savings account, the interest is typically low. But that's totally fine. It depends on what type how much you have to put in, right? But there's things like money market accounts in which they're pretty much the same as like savings accounts, but they yield a higher interest.
Yeah.
But then you have to be having like 10K on that.
Yeah, a lot of those accounts
So-
they have like you have to have a preset amount to
So like
put
if
in.
you have this below, they'll give you 1%, right? Let's say, but if you have the above this account amount, they'll give you 10%. So like it's if you exceed the minimum requirement, your interest is like cashing in your wallet. Plus, they always have some bonus. So if you deposit a number amount, they'll give you 500 straight out.
Yeah, like I know a lot of places they're trying to be more competitive. Like one credit union, they have like a special checking account where if you if you at least meet certain criteria every month, you get up to like 2 or 3% on your money a year. And if you have like a good chunk of money in there, it's not a huge amount, but it's going to be a lot more than you may make a couple $100 a year in interest, which is not great, but that's pretty darn good because most banks you just make cents or just dollars.
So we've been talking about a lot of banking, and in regards mostly debit.
Yes.
Debit banking, right? In which it's the money that you own and it's your money. I want to know, Scarlett, what's your thoughts on credit?
Credit cards.
Credit cards.
Yes.
Oh, you're so excited.
Oh no, not at all. It's more a mix of like interest, but also horror.
I think credit system. China also has this credit system that you will be like evaluated if you want to buy a house or a car or something, and it will depend on your credit, how much money you can loan and take from the bank. But I think every bank in China, they're trying to lure customer to have credit cards. Yeah, so that they can.
They can.
Do you think it's like a way for them to like kind of like get more money out of you, or is it? Do you see it as malicious, or is it like
more of a bad intent, or more of a neutral, or maybe even positive intent?
Well, about their intent, I cannot tell, but I think it's totally depends on individuals. What do you think of your credit? And
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing, especially here in the U.S. because in order for you to make those big purchases like cars, like houses, like name it, we always look at your credit, right? And something that can be for or against you is your credit card, right? So like as you purchase through your history, right? A lot of people think of credit cards as microloans. And this is a very bad way of looking at credit cards because that means that you're racking up interest instead of building good credit.
Exactly, because from the time you begin, like you have college loans. That's credit. You pay those off. Because it all comes together into your credit score.
Yeah.
It's common knowledge. And the more you pay your bills on time, you have good money habits. That will make your score go up. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is they look at credit cards. Oh my God, it's horror, it's evil. Oh, they're gonna take full advantage of me. And yeah, a lot of people that's the case. But if you learn about it and know how to manage it, it can actually be very good for you. Especially if you can find like cashback credit cards, travel credit cards that give you points. If you can manage those very well, you actually can get money from them because you're gonna have to spend money on things. That's inescapable. But if you can. You have to spend the money, and you can use a credit card to get something back. Well, why not? You just have to manage it correctly.
Yeah, so I'm an Amazon addict. I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. Just because, like, now, I mean, heck, I can even do my grocery through Amazon. So, like, why not? And the thing that I got, because I'm a Prime member, was their Amazon credit card. And every purchase I do through Amazon, I get 5% back. And within a year, I was able to accrue, let's say, a couple $100.
Nice.
Like I was able to buy a very expensive server for free, and like I buy all my video games with that credit that I get. So like, I mean, that's like $60 per video game type of thing.
No,
So
It's
that's
funny for firms like Amazon. Amazon is considered as a company right now, the bank that they can give you and issue credit cards even. But in China, only banks are allowed to do that.
would Alibaba not have a credit card of their own?
Actually, the service is a kind of a credit system, but they don't call it credit card. You know, it's like if you use their money, and you can actually every month use the Ali service, and then it's a monthly. You have to pay it on a monthly basis, so it's like it's something like a credit card, but it's
because I get the sense.
Yeah, but that's a money system. I mean, for Amazon, it's a.
And what's really crazy about Alipay is that within Alipay, you can actually invest in the stock market. You can invest in CDs.
I think Alipay is taking
you can
over
do
banks.
all. You can do all the same.
They're doing a lot of businesses that banks are supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy. When I first got, I was like, "Oh my god, you can do all these things!" And they even have what's called Yubao. And literally, it's like
envelopes. Is that?
No.
Okay.
It's basically like you put money, and they give you interest every day. So like, my girlfriend, she had she was getting almost 10 yuan a day in interest because she put a bunch of money in.
This is kind of
yes,
like a
I
bond.
tried that.
Yeah.
You deposit money in that special service, and you get an interest.
And it's, I mean,
from
it's I've never seen anything like it. I mean, there's nothing here that really compares to the rate of return because you get paid out every day. It's like, so, you know.
Only a small amount of money.
Sure, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, my girlfriend had
Yes.
at one point I had like 100,000.
And you can always cash
Yeah, you can still use
cash
it.
out or
Use it.
deposit money. You can use it.
Yeah, because she said saving up for for her house for a mortgage to pay off a big chunk of her mortgage. So she put it in there, and she got to over 100,000, and she was getting like 10 plus a day.
Yeah.
And she just kept it in there until she finally had to spend it. But she made a good chunk of money just by leaving it there. And I'm just like, dang. And 10 yuan is not a lot, but that's over $1 a day. I mean,
Yeah, that's very interesting because it's kind of like bonds or like
a money market.
money market and kind of like a stock almost.
Yeah. But the thing is, I have noticed that in the last few years, the rate of return is going down. It started off very high, but now it's starting to go down. I think because it's unsustainable.
You think so?
You think so?
Well, I can't say for certain, but I mean, I think because it's generally gone down, the rate of return or the yield that people get. I just think because when they started it, it was very high, and as they say, nothing is completely sustainable forever.
So, like, give me an example of something that you would quote unquote invest in. Like
Investing.
like when you put the money in for the interest, right? Like, is it like you're putting money on a grocery store, right? Like, or is it like
I think with
like a service, like
Eubao, it's just sitting there like a bank account.
It's a kind
You're
of
not
investment
actually
itself.
you're not really investing in anything specific. It's just investing in the money in
You
Alipay.
just put money in it. It's an investment.
Yeah, so actually, like it's basically all through Alipay.
Is it pooled within a certain amount of people, like, or is
Everybody can do that.
it?
But it's not. But there's nothing like it here
Like-
in a direct comparison.
Like, can you and me put into the same one?
No, it's like
No,
individual by
you-
individual.
Individual, okay.
You put money in an account, and then everybody. It's basically an app service, and if you have a phone, and you can.
Yeah, it's literally like basically a saving, basically like a special types of savings account within the Alipay system that you just gain interest on every day.
And you don't have to go to the bank and do all the paperwork.
No
You
paperwork
just
or
put
anything.
money
You
in
just
it.
as long as you have an Alipay account, you can do it. But now one thing that's very important, as a non-Chinese, I cannot do it. So my girlfriend can do it. I can use Alipay. I can do all that, but I can't invest anything because I'm not a Chinese citizen.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is very unfortunate, but
I actually don't really make money out of that service because I spend all the money. They have really good deals on special occasions like November 11th and stuff. You spend all this money you get.
Well, another thing I found was interesting was that in China, like when I was a student, I saved up a good chunk of money. I remember I put my money into a CD through my bank, and it had almost a 3% interest rate, which I mean that's really high. And I saved up a bunch of money, didn't need it, so I put it in for a year, and I got a good return out of it from that. So I found that just that the percentage yield or the rate of return was a little higher. Now it has gone down, but back in 2015, 2016 when I did that, it was about 3% for that CD that I just did. I'm like, well, I'm not using the money. I might as well put it to use. Man, I got a good chunk of return or a good chunk of change from that from just having it in the year.
I think for my parents' generation, because my mom she always loved to go to the banks or the post office, and they can buy, and she always buy this service or products from there, and just basically deposit money in one product, and then she'll wait for a year and she get money back. A lot of, I think, there are people from their generation, they love to buy products from banks in China.
Well, like commodities.
Yes, like commodities. They just buy products and they invest money, and the bank take all this money to do something, right? And they get part of that, can share a part of that interest.
Yeah. Well, it's just like if you buy gold or other commodities here,
Yes.
people do that as kind of a hedge their bet against the market by having some solid bullion or silver in their account or in their investment portfolio.
It'd be very interesting to talk about maybe in a future episode regarding the stock or investments like this.
That is a whole.
It's kind of night and day. I know compared to here.
Yeah, the stock market in China is very different from the stock market here. Not in structure, but just in terms of like volatility and the how people use it or can lose or win.
Do you guys invest money in stock market?
Yes, we do.
Oh, you both do that?
Yeah, so like the problem is that's kind of a big part of retirement for in the United States. In order for you to have a livable retirement, you need to have some type of investment.
And I would say that it's not more like trading. It's more we look at it as more of a long term. It's not like I say China. I know a lot of people. It's all about get the quick flip. They buy a stock, it goes up, and they sell it. Here, people do that, but most investors, they buy into like a mutual fund, an ETF, something that's designed to grow slowly, steadily. So maybe when they retire, they'll like double or because now the average return of the stock market's been like around 7%, since or 7% give or take. So the goal is to just you add money every month to it, your portfolio, and it just grows. Of course, it's going to go up and down. At the end of the day, it's going to end up, statistically speaking, higher than when you began. I mean, thus far.
Inflation occurs, so.
And that's another reason why people use the stock market. It usually beats inflation.
Yeah.
Because most bank accounts, you're actually losing money over time because inflation is going to actually cut down how much money you really have.
Exactly. Yeah. So. It would be very interesting to speak retirement in foreign countries.
Yes, that would be. So Scarlett, any last things you want to mention about banking here before you wrap up today?
I'm still trying to figure out the banking system and see if I can get some benefits from it. Yeah, I'll try.
You definitely can, and I know a lot of people don't really have a huge interest in it, but I think if you just put a little time and effort into it, you can really. Wow, I didn't know that. You actually create more interest.
I actually know some people, some Chinese students who's here in the United States, they earn money, they get money from their bank account. They have several bank accounts. I have people telling me that. Yeah. So. It's nice. It's not bad.
No, yeah, it's you
always can find the chances to getting bonus, like the $200 that I get from Commerce Bank.
Yeah, and I think regardless at the end of the day, regardless of where you do business, where you earn money, make money, spend your money, if you take the time and effort to get to know every place's system, you can benefit from it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
you gotta know how to play the game.
You should have a lecture on that.
What's
on
that?
campus. You should try to organize. You should have you can have a class on that.
Well, I just think that anytime people or students, travelers go
As an
abroad.
international student, when I went to the orientation, they didn't tell me anything about banking or
Oh, yeah,
bank
that's-
that you can turn to, and they just gave us a list of things that you should do, and open a bank account from a bank. And that's it.
Oh wow.
Well, and you know,
It's scary. For
having
me
been
to
an
go-
international student myself, that's much easier said than done.
Yeah.
And
And
we
it's
had-
so unfair. The Chinese university offer good service because you.
Yeah. I mean,
You
yeah,
have your
they
bank
set
account
you up,
already.
man. Like she had to go out and research it by
And all the
herself.
paperwork, of course, are in English.
Well, all the paperwork was in Chinese, so
yeah,
just to
but you
say,
can help.
yeah. So yeah, I can't complain too much, but no, I do think that is something that definitely there needs to be more discussion about this at all levels because financial literacy and education is something that really is lacking, not just here but all over the place. And I think if more people actually are given the opportunity to learn about it, you'll actually have less financial instability in the world.
So yeah, banking in foreign countries. So this was a fun topic. I actually had quite a bit of fun. If you guys want to shoot us an email at internationalimmersionspodcast@gmail.com with your thoughts or any topics that you guys would like to discuss in the future, please send us a email, fax, depending on where you are in the world, and then
And we will review your comments, and you'll give us good ideas of what content we can create in the future.
yeah. So just signing off. Adios.
Goodbye, or 再见.
再见。